What was your first big leadership lesson?
We're talking leadership.
Blah.
All right.
How AI is changing the way organization works today.
When has agility propelled you to the next level?
Yeah. Oh, that sucks. So we won't do any of that.
All right.
All right. We already hit record. Don't worry about it. When he claps, that's the marker for the producers to then know that look at the content. So anything before, like right now, that'll be caught.
It's not because what I said was just so compelling.
The irony is they'll go through, and if they find something compelling, then they pull it out.
Great.
And they'll put it into the front of the show.
Great.
Yeah. So.
However, if we don't, it just means it wasn't good.
And so we keep an eye on time. You're 10:55.
Yeah.
Out the door. Okay.
All right. So that's 15 minutes.
Good.
Sure.
Michael or Mike?
Michael,
generally. Yeah, because you have a mic that works with you, or
I do. Many mics.
Mini mic.
It is kind of a common name.
It used to be the most popular. I mean, at one point, it might still be. It was the number one name.
I'm sure now it's something like Sebastian or something.
I'm
pretty sure it's Muhammad. Actually,
point taken.
Right.
Yeah.
Super bad.
No. Muhammad, Abdullah, Muhammad.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably fair.
No Muhammad Juniors though.
For some reason. I don't understand that. Seniors, juniors, Bubba. In Texas, we have the Bubbas, which is kind of like that deal. No.
Bubba is from Louisiana.
Yeah, it is.
At least according to Gump, right?
Bubba Shrimp.
Now, here's one. My middle name is Myron.
Myron? That's got to be a family name.
It's my dad's name, yeah.
Yeah.
My son is Finnegan Myron Pawlyszyn.
Great Italian names.
Yes, totally. Irish.
I know.
Scotch Bulgarian.
Scotch Bulgarian. That's an interesting mix. Irish. He's Irish, too.
It's also a Chevy Chase line.
Yeah. What is the one in Fletch where he goes to the door and she comes in the towel?
Can I borrow your towel? I hit a water buffalo. Yeah.
How you doing? May I borrow your towel? Yeah, I just hit a water buffalo. Anyway, goes right into it. All righty, we'll pause. Michael, how are you doing today?
Doing well. Thank you for having me.
Let me clap for Ryan.
Yeah, do it again. All righty, there we go. We've got the clap. We're on.
You got the clap.
No, I never had the clap. I did get crabs. I told you that story yesterday.
In ninth grade.
Yeah. So, Michael, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you? A little concerned at the moment, but that's all right.
As you should be.
Scoot your seat over.
As you should be. No, got that cleared up. We're good.
Good.
So we're here at Cornerstone Spark. It's been fantastic. And you are the Chief Revenue Officer for the Americas, right?
I am.
And you just came out of college, right?
A couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Community college, though. Let's just be clear.
It's a hell of a first job.
But don't want to overstate. Well, I shot high.
When I did make it in the NBA, I thought I'd give sales a shot. Let's just go see what we have here.
It's the fallback.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about the position.
That's an incredible opportunity. I get asked the question all the time. You came from being the general manager and CRO of SuccessFactors at SAP for the Americas, and you went to a completely different route. I have a background from large enterprise, publicly traded organizations, and now I'm at Cornerstone, which is privately held.
Right.
$1 billion plus, but it's a different culture, operation, environment than working at an SAP.
You can do things.
Yeah. Well, but it's also just mission-wise. Those are fantastic.
Right.
Companies.
All of them.
Huge stockholder in all of them.
100%.
They change the world. They'll continue to do so. They drive innovation. But if you ask anybody in those enterprises, what does your organization do? Depending on who you're talking to, you're going to get something different.
Right.
And because they are trying and they do appeal to many organizations around many things and solve many, many problems. What attracted me to Cornerstone was we are very specific, purpose-built, purpose-driven, mission-aligned. Everybody is here for the exact same purpose. And that's really impacting employee-driven outcomes for an organization, driving business value, but making certain that we help individuals evolve their careers, create opportunities for them. The impact they then translate and bring to the organization is in tandem and objective as to just the opportunity they create for themselves, the improvement they create for themselves. What does that translate to at home for their families? How does that translate to impacting communities? And, it is a very straight line for us here. Help individuals evolve their opportunity and career, bring impact to their organization, but change the world for the better. That's a lofty thing. And it's hard to do when you're trying to do that across every plane of technology versus we are very specific to elevating the employee experience and opportunity.
Yeah. One of the things that I've realized, and I'm sure you have as well, some of the companies we work with, when they're mission driven and purposeful, it's very different. Like you said, how do you get a company to do that? How do you get the people in a company to align that way?
It's what I wake up at 3 a.m. every morning thinking about and can't get to sleep.
Because it all drives revenue for them, right?
Yeah.
It is all revenue driven, sure, sometimes.
Right.
But it's not necessarily the number one priority.
Yeah.
Because I have a month to close or a quarter to close, and I am driven by, it's the way I grew up, that's the way that I operate, etc.
Right.
But it is really, how do we put a macro objective out there and evolve towards that? So one of the things that attracted me at Cornerstone is we are the 800-pound gorilla, the best learning and compliance company in the world, bar none, period, full stop, and we forever will be. That is part of our DNA and our history, and that is helping us build our organization and operation. But what we are doing with Galaxy, what we are doing with skills, is a very different thing than what we have historically done. The outcome and the impact is significantly, or should be significantly larger. But how do you get an organization to change from this was built a great enterprise, this is what has built a great culture and a great ecosystem of customers and partners, to now pivot to reach even further, to aspire to do even more? One is safe, well-known, well-defined, and we do it very well. The other, it's a new motion for many people.
That's right.
It's moving from being a point solution, and this isn't unique to Cornerstone, but it's moving from being a point solution, very, very focused, to now trying to be more of a platform and an enterprise organization. You've seen our portfolio.
Right.
Spent a lot of time on Monday in the analyst discussion talking about that. There's a lot there, but I have a workforce that frankly looks at that and says, I see the opportunity. I see the inspiration and why we're doing that. Now, how do we help our customers be successful taking advantage of that?
Right.
And I would say the number one difference that I have noticed, and there's many, between working at an enterprise publicly held organization to where we are right now, is focusing on the how do I help our customers be successful in consuming what we were sold versus how do I sell them the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And you need to do both to have a successful enterprise, because if you're not growing, that's not a good.
That's
not
not a
work.
good.
That's
No,
not
even private. That's not a good thing.
That's not the recipe last time I checked.
No.
It turns out.
So it's a balance of that. And what I have been very surprised at, pleasantly so, because you have that aligned mission to outcomes, human being outcomes,
Right.
and financial outcomes that are a result of that versus the other way around. It is a, how do I engage? How do I support? How do I ideate and be creative to solve that problem? And that creates a very, very different culture. This is my first Spark event, our first conference, and we have hired and I brought on, a lot of new talent, and we've grown our organization. And the consistent theme around us newbies has been, this is a different feeling because our customers love our product, yes, but they love our company.
Yes.
And it's very much a relationship organization. And what a very satisfying way to interact with folks, because you're coming from a good place, not in audits. We have our problems. Everybody does. But it's coming from a, how do we stack hands and solve? And it's sincere. I don't think I appreciated that when I was researching the organization. And I don't think I really understood that. And now, almost a year later, I see it every single day, and this is an explosion of it.
Yeah, I think a number of times we've heard customers name their customer service manager.
Oh yeah.
Like they know who they are.
Yeah. Shout out to Cindy, blah blah blah. That type of stuff, which is fantastic.
No, you don't hear that.
Doesn't happen normally. And again, it's first of all, I love the fact that a practitioner or practitioner's team can fall in love with a company, its product, its team, everything. And again, software isn't perfect. No software is perfect. It doesn't matter. I mean, Google, no software is perfect. First question was, how do we get the market and practitioners that maybe aren't customers, maybe are customers, to rethink Cornerstone?
I'll use an example of the meeting I just came from. So maybe I have some recency bias to answer this, but I think it's a really good understanding. We're meeting with one of the largest customers that we have globally, but they happen to be one of the largest customers or companies in Latin America. And we came to the table, and the very first thing we talked about was a product gap. Product gap.
Okay.
Lo and behold, guess what? We have product gaps, just like everybody else does.
Right.
And we very, very quickly pivoted from I have a precise itch that I want you to help me scratch, to a step back based off of trust of help us understand the outcome and then let's unpack it. And they very quickly said, you know what? We need to help you understand what we're trying to accomplish, because maybe it's not a gap. And the customer came to this conclusion during the course of our conversation.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Maybe it's not a gap. Maybe it's a gap in how we're trying to get there. Maybe there's a different way. Or in full fairness, maybe it's a gap that we have. And if we have it, you need to close it because others likely have it as well.
100%.
Which is the rationalization that collectively we need to come to.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit of an interesting approach to it. And that doesn't apply just to Cornerstone. I think, HR tech is an interesting space because we fall into kind of like, what is our financial opportunity to help drive and change an organization? That always, and I think it's incorrect, always takes a back seat to other investments in an organization.
Right.
So how you think about problem solving and bringing impact needs to be different than if I'm implementing an ERP and I have a very hard direct line ROI to driving impact and outcome. That's easier to substantiate than something like I'm trying to skill an organization because I have a people acquisition challenge. There's not enough human beings being born in the world to answer the capacity demand that's out there. And so you have to be much more creative, I think, and purposeful to the why of technology being an enabler and the return that means. I say this all the time. Human beings are as important to having raw material available for a manufacturer. If I don't have steel, my mill shuts down, my plant shuts down, the manufacturing line is done, or if I don't have piece parts, et cetera. But if I don't have people to go operate,
same bit,
that are certified, et cetera.
Same idea.
Same thing.
The irony of that is the world learned about supply chain during COVID, right?
Yeah.
When I was in business school in the 90s, there were people that were becoming experts in supply chain, but like no one knew what they were doing, right? But we haven't really talked about the supply chain of talent or people. And it's fascinating actually, because we don't think of that. We don't do it in succession. We don't do it we don't think of that as people like raw materials. Because I think some of it might be a backlash that like people aren't materials. It's like they're somehow above it, but it's like, you still got to know what you have, what you don't have, and how it's going to get there, etc. So I have a different question.
Yep.
Do you have something?
Go ahead.
So flip gears on you just a bit. It's twofold. You have a massive sales team. How do you get them to understand what the practitioner goes through? Like their world, because they know their world. Like you don't have to necessarily teach them how to sell. I mean, you do all that stuff too, and your team does. So you got that. But how do you get them to kind of have empathy or sympathy for the job that they're selling to? And the flip side of that is also, what are questions that you wish that your sales team wished that practitioners would ask?
Those are two really good questions, and albeit not disconnected at all.
Right.
So there's the traditional, I think, salesperson of any technology or anything in general that is like, I sell a hammer, everything's a nail to me, et cetera. So like our answer can't be, guess what? Oh, you have an issue around how you're growing your organization. You must not have trained them properly. That could be a piece part of it for certain. And there's probably a there.
100%.
I would venture to guess. But if you immediately go there without becoming a student of your organization, having intellectual curiosity, and I think to me, that is the biggest skills gap that I have when I'm in the market and internally, frankly, when I look at talent, is you can't teach grit and an intellectual curiosity, but you can find it and you can harness it and you can evolve it. And then when you have those individuals that truly want to understand who their customers are, holistically what they're trying to accomplish, not just in learning or in skilling and HR, but like truly how are they trying to evolve their organization? That context should be the beacon that drives everything that you drive everything towards. That part of it to me is the thing that I look for the most in our people. We can teach HR tech and all that type of stuff, right? But if you are truly passionate about understanding the customers you are serving, that's what sales is all about. You're serving your customers. Right. That's what I'm looking at. Mm-hmm. And now the other element, you marry that curiosity up with.
I love that, by the way. Can you assess for that? No, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking of all the assessment plays I've worked with in the past, personality, behavioral, a whole bit. And I'm like, I want to do curiosity.
It's a combination of Rorschach and assessments that comes up to
What do you see?
But I think the other element that's part of that then is we are fortunate, at Cornerstone, what we do, we have the most relatable job in the world.
Yeah.
What we are doing is our own evolution, our own career trajectory, our own aspirations, our own disappointments, the gap and the insecurities that we ourselves as human beings, as professionals, sometimes unprofessional, that it makes it immediately understandable as to how the people on the other side are very, very relatable.
Right.
It's very tangible. If you can't understand and appreciate your own challenges as a human being as you progress your career, that's a pretty obvious disconnect from how can we then show up and try to help a customer.
Yeah. That's really interesting. I've never actually thought of it that way.
Genius.
You're actually working on your own career path.
And they can talk to the prospect about that. It's like, hey, here's how we're doing this with ourselves, like that type of stuff, which is, I think automatically, and you've of course worked with a lot of these folks too. It's like if you're using your own technology, your CHROs, customer zero, the whole bit, like it's like, all right, this is how we use it. And this is how we're evolving in our department to then do this. I think it's just more relatable for the practitioner to go, okay.
The other element and why I have a heavy stress on the intellectual curiosity and becoming a student of your customer, we live in a heterogeneous world and environment. And our customers operate in the exact same thing. They have pieces of technology from everybody. They have operational processes, et cetera. They have influencers. And those that come in and say, you know what, we can do it all, they're not humble, let alone realistic. That hubris isn't the type of
automatically don't trust it.
Right. And so I think that is a core component of like how Cornerstone operates. Our chief product officer talks about we're not a jealous system.
Right.
And if you look at our announcement yesterday, I'll use this as an example with Salesforce and with Microsoft. What did you see? You saw an agentic partnership where we're manifesting learning in line of their application solutions.
That's right. Let them be them.
Doesn't have to be our platform and portfolio.
No.
But now that opens up a whole lot of possibilities. It would be impossible if we said it's all with us. It would be impossible.
Well, it's not just impossible. It's you could try to have it all. And I think we've seen that and it fails, but it's never going to be world class at all.
Correct.
There's going to be some places in there that miss. Michael, this has been fantastic. We need to get you out because you've got
things to do.
64 more meetings in the day. So brother, thank you so much for carving out time for us.
Appreciate the opportunity. It's good to see you guys again.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
We're out.
All right. Get you out of here.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. I was